I don't bite.
No.
Not hard.
Good morning. We are so thrilled to see you all this morning. It's a little gloomy out there. Most of the country would say, what? With all this bright light coming in. I hope it doesn't rain. It's supposed to. But I'm Betsy Lavoie, thrilled to see all of you this morning for our last success programming of this season. And so
we saved the best for last.
We did. I was just going to say that. We saved the best for last. Before I share her official introduction, I do want to share that we just featured Julie Jones on a podcast on Friday, which will be released in a couple of weeks. And we took a deeper dive into one of her 7 books. 9. Oh my gosh. One of her 9 books. And it was great. So we'll make sure that you all can tune into that, especially after you hear her coaching and training today. I'm sure you'll want to. So our guest speaker today, our keynote is Julie Jones. Julie is a keynote speaker, adventure and breakthrough coach, a TV producer, a podcast host, and a 6-time best-selling author.
Update that 9 times.
9 times best-selling. Literally just said 9. Yeah. She inspires people who are do instead of just being, a way to transform their stinkin' thinkin' into a more courageous way of being, so they can get off the hamster wheel, live a life without regret, and have the courage to be who they were meant to be. Julie's here today to share with us some great ideas on how to stop waiting and start living. Please join me in giving her a huge hand.
I appreciate it. So this is going to be informal and really casual, so if you have questions, please be interactive, because I hate to stand up here and be like Charlie Brown's teacher, womp, 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 womp. So, but before we get started, I would love to know who's in the room. So we're going to do quick 30-second introductions. Your name, your company, and what brought you here this morning. So Josh, we will start with you.
Josh Logan, Guardian Train Consulting, you.
Thank you.
Karen Logan, Guardian Training and Consulting, and we've been following Julie for quite a while. We are part of her networking group, BNI, if you guys have heard of BNI. And she's been gone for a little bit, so the energy level has kind of gone down, so we do miss her, and we wanted to hear some more of her. I haven't heard her get stuff done speech, so I'm excited. Get shit done.
Get shit done, because he's recording it. It's okay, I say it. So
so we're excited to hear another talk from Julie.
Barbara Murphy Shannon, Foreplay Copy, Email Marketing. Just have never really reached out to talk, so I'm excited to hear about what you're doing today.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
I'm Heather Holbert, and I am with the Chamber of Commerce, and I love to hear you talk and speak, and it always makes me feel so good, and Betsy, let me come.
Thank you. Great boss. All right. Thank you.
Good morning, Kathleen Blair with Arizona Care Hospice.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? Oh, education, knowledge, wisdom and knowledge, right?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Ferraro. I own Skin Oasis Institute, and what brought me here is you. Absolutely.
I am Jeff Stack, the founder and CFO of Home Watch Neighbor. CFO, as Julie might know, stands for Chief Flushing Officer. And my motto is, a vacant home is a vulnerable home. And I'm here to see you.
It never gets old. PJ Cordona, Life and Health, Light Therapy. I've never heard you speak, so I'm grateful to be here.
Debbie Romano, founder of Fountain Hills Healthy Heartbeats. I've heard Julie speak many times, and I can go see her speak anytime. I will be there for you. I love you.
I'm Brenda McCarty with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and what brought me here today is Success Factor, and Julie, here to speak.
Yeah.
I'm Janet Atkins. I'm with UMB Bank, and I have missed quite a few meetings, so I'm trying to get more involved.
Well, good. Welcome.
Joanne Colella Communications. I do copywriting and editing and graphic design to market businesses. I've loved this entire Success Factor series, and yes, perhaps they did save the best for last because your reputation, you see plenty of events, but your reputation precedes you. I've heard from many people in this room how wonderful a speaker you are, and I give it to you.
Well, thank you everyone. And would you introduce yourself, name, company, and name, company, and why you're here?
My name is Tears of Washington, and my company is Love My Shawl. I'm an art vendor, and I'm here because I decided to be here.
Awesome. Well, that is fantastic. Well, there is room right here. Why don't you come and join us right up here up front, so that you are part of the group. So it's all right. You know, life happens, right? As you're trying to, oh, well, thank you very much. All right, so here's how today is going to work. It's going to be fast and furious. And I always talk about that I give a lot of information. It may seem like you're drinking from a fire hose this morning. However, here's what I suggest you do. Take one thing that resonates with you. A lot of times people get really excited, they go to seminars. I mean, how many people have been to seminars? I know with Mary Kay, like, you know, you're learning all the time and there's so much great information. And you go home and you think you're implementing 10 different ideas. And how many get implemented? Zero. That's right, zero. Thank you for the honesty. Because it's no different than if we've ever wanted to release weight, right? Like we decide, oh my gosh, I'm going to drink, you know, all that water, I'm going to exercise 5 times a day, I'm going to eat clean, give up alcohol, give up sugar, and that lasts maybe one day, right? Because for the brain, it's overwhelming if we attempt to do way too much. So if you're taking notes today, you know, maybe star the one thing that you are going to take away and implement. I believe habits take 90 days. 90 days to truly implement, to become a habit. There's a lot of other theories out there, but I've done enough coaching to realize it's the consistency and the commitment of doing it. Consistency is everything. Jeff and I were just talking about, you know, before everybody walked in this morning, like having to get back on and post about social media, right? But like an occasional post here or there, people don't really see what's happening. It's the consistency. And I'm not always a huge fan of social media, and it's not always about business. People want to know who you are in your life, in your life story. So I am going to give you an acronym today. How many people are excited about an acronym to help remember the information? Woohoo! All right, but before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about what brings me here today and why I'm so passionate about Stop Waiting, Start Living, which is my platform. Even though I'm a GSD coach, it's not about doing. It's really about being and living the life that you were born to live, because we don't have a promise of tomorrow. Woo! I think that's gonna it's probably gonna really affect me this morning. So stop waiting, start living. Many of you know, many of you don't know, I'm a former law enforcement officer just like these two. So I spent 10 years in that career back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the hardest thing I ever had to do was give death notifications. Here today, gone tomorrow. Nobody promises you a tomorrow. And everybody thought that they were coming home. And that wasn't always the case for a lot of people. So it was in that was the first instance of me seeing how everybody just waits for the perfect time, waits for, you know, till they have all the money. They wait until they lose all the weight to have those, you know, those photographs taken. And what are you waiting for, is my question, right? The second incident that happened that really hit home is actually this month. My mom is gone 20 years. She passed away at the age of 59 from early onset Alzheimer's. And it was in that moment that she passed away, not only did her dreams go to the grave, because my father's dreams went as well. Because how many people know people who wait till they retire until they start living life? Right? And at retirement, we don't know if we're going to have our health. We don't know if we're going to have the resources to really live the life that we want to live. So instead of waiting until a certain age, why are we not living more in the moment today? And then the third instance that really is somewhat hard for me to talk about, but I'm going to get through this, is that on November 9th of this past year, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 metastasized colon cancer. And so in that moment, everything changed. And when you really want to look at, when you have a loved one on a cancer journey or any kind of health journey, and you look at that and you see everything that is no longer a priority.
everything goes to the wayside and what's most important. And the most important thing right now is the time we spend together. So again, but it shouldn't have to take a huge life challenge or a huge turn of events in our lives for us to realize that life is a gift. And we don't know how much time we have. I believe God put it on the back of our head for whatever reason. And when that time is up, that time is up. You are not, when the Grim Reaper comes, right, and he knocks at your door and he says, hey, it's time to go. And you say, no, 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 no. I'm not ready to go. Josh, my good friend Josh, will you take my place? Josh, what are you going to say? Hell no. And Josh is going to be like, hell no, right?
I got a couple names.
Yeah. So people won't take our place in death, so why do we allow them to live for us? We allow people to dictate how we're living based on their opinions and their ideas. It's your life. It's your life to design and create and choose how you want to do things. So to get started, the acronym that you're going to write down, and I'm going to give you some ideas around these things to help you really truly live it, try to live more in the moment and stop waiting for that perfect time. The acronym is DO YOU. Do you. D-O-Y-O-U. And I'm going to give you what those acronyms, each letter stands for. But do you is very easy for you to remember because what? You're going to be living your best life. So anybody want to know or guess what the D stands for? Anyone?
Decide.
Well, that's a good one, but no, it's not D. That's not the D I'm looking for. The D I'm talking about is digital detox. Woo-hoo! Digital detox. As people are typing on their phones. It's okay, right? Because these things, more people will search for these than they might look for a missing 5-year-old, right? People go into a honest to God panic when they can no longer find these. So there is a book out there by Mark Homer called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And the most startling statistic that he talks about in that book is at the beginning when he says that the average person, and we're not talking millennials, we're talking about people in this room, touch their phone 2,617 times a day. 2,617 times a day. It's a pretty scary number. I mean, we are reaching for it. We have become like Pavlov's dogs. And you said it earlier today, right? You're doing an email or something, that phone goes off and it's like, bing, who's trying to contact me? Bing, bing, bing. All these bings are going off in our life and we are paying attention to too many of them. Because every time that you are focused in on an event or something that you're doing and you get distracted, it takes you another 5 to 10 minutes for the brain to recover and to refocus back in. Is there any reason why we're losing time in a day? Like the iPhones, I don't know about the Androids, but the iPhones will track how much time you're spending on your phone in a given week. Look at that. Just look at that. So let me ask you this. How many people think that they could give up their phones for 24 hours? Oh, good. I got some people. I got some people that could give it up for 24 hours. How many people think they could maybe do 1 hour a day? Oh. All right. We're going to commit. Well, we can get a commitment of 1 hour a day. Because here's a really cool feature on your phone.
Can I start it on the phone?
There's a really cool feature on the phone. It's called Do Not Disturb or Focus. And you know what? You can put that, for this presentation, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb Focus because my focus right now is delivering the best information to all of you in the room. You showed up. You took your most valuable asset, which is your time, to be here this morning. So I get it. We have so many distractions. But can you give yourself an hour a day for all those things that you maybe talk about that you've wanted to do and you're not doing? Your love of reading, meditating, journal, exercising. And if you can't do an hour, I have gifts for you today. But the last presentation I did, I learned
that when I put them at people's chairs, people got distracted by their new toy. Okay, so like as you're leaving today, you can grab one of these. I'll give you one of these. But this is what I love to teach people, is I teach people and I use an old school kitchen timer. How many people think that they could do 15 minutes a day? 15 minutes, right? But here's what I want you to do. For so many of us, when we block off our calendars and we want to do a big project, how many times is it 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours? We block off these huge amounts of time, and then what happens?
You don't get it done.
You don't get it done, right? There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that are coming at us. I mean, like, if you want to get something done, like when I wrote my first book, Stop Waiting, Start Living, right? What ended up happening for me was every time I sat down to write, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. I go to the refrigerator, and all of a sudden I'm cleaning my refrigerator, right? Like I had the cleanest refrigerator on the block while I was writing this book, because the unconscious mind is designed to distract us. It wants to keep us safe. So if there's something big that you want to do, a lot of times we're not doing it because we're attracting all these distractions. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get your timer. You're gonna set it for 15 minutes. The reason I use old school timer is that because I just talked about how the cell phone is a distraction. And if you set the timer on your phone for 15 minutes and it dings at you, like during the 15 minutes, you're gonna be trying to pay attention to see who's trying to get a hold of you. Everyone has 15 minutes. I like to say do this first thing in the morning and do 15 minutes on a priority of something. What speaks to you? What is it that you really want to be doing or getting done? And I don't care if it's a 15-minute walk. Don't make it a tasky item. Don't make it something like returning emails or returning texts. Do what matters most. Set the timer for 15 minutes. Eliminate all distractions. Focus in. You will be surprised at what you can get done in 15 minutes. Now here's the most important part. The 15-minute timer goes off and what do? You celebrate. Woohoo! Like you actually stand up and celebrate and get excited that you stayed true to your word and you showed up for yourself. You don't quantify or qualify what you got done. Oh my God, look at this. This is crap. I didn't get anything done. Right? You don't do that. But if you do this 7 days a week and you're consistent with it, right? In 7 days, that's an hour and 45 minutes. An hour and 45 minutes of you taking you forward somewhere in life that benefits you instead of really, you know, like setting up those 2, 3, 4 hours and then never getting anything done. Because here's what I'm about. I'm about building self-esteem and self-worth. And every time you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, it chips away at your self-esteem. And we, as human beings, have a tendency to beat ourselves up. It's another reason too, I have some giveaways too, but I wrote this journal, Stop Doing, Start Being, as well. Because in the journal, as Betsy pointed out the other day, doesn't have any dates on it. Because there's no have-tos in my world, it's what I get to do. But what I created this about is for you to record your celebrations. Looking at the end of the day, what you did get done versus what you didn't get done. Because as human beings, we have a tendency to go to the negative rather than the positive. So even, you know, whether or not you have a copy of my journal, there's so many ways that you can really take a look. It doesn't take you very long at the end of the day to be in gratitude and really truly celebrate what did get done. Who has questions on that? Anything? Any comments?
Can you do it at like your 15 minutes in the morning and then do another 15 in the afternoon?
You can do it as many as you want, right? Like if you do it 15 minutes in the morning and you find that you still want to do another 15 minutes, go ahead. It's however you want to set it up, but just however you do it, stay consistent.
Oh, there's the key.
The consistency, right? Because a lot of times, again, we come back from seminars and we start implementing things right away, and we maybe do it for a week or 2 weeks, and then it just falls off we fall off the train, right? So, consistency. Great question, thank you. Anybody else? All right, ready for the O? O, all right. The O stands for, oh no, say it with me. sentence. So for all of those, Brenda looking at me, all of those people who love to say yes to volunteer opportunities, right? And all these things that sometimes we think are going to benefit us, they're really not, right? Because here's the key. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to another priority in your life. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to another priority in your life. Because as much as we'd like to, we only have 24 hours in a day, right? Only 24 hours, and we still want to live, we still want to be able to sleep and eat and have some fun and all those kinds of things. And so really when you look at it, how much time you really have to spend, it's really not a lot. And it's people in this room, I look at people who are business owners, entrepreneurs, we all like to give back. We all like to be, you know, like seen as that we are helpers, right? Deep down, we like to help. We really truly do. But sometimes we help at our own expense. We really do, because we're saying yes to everything, and then all of a sudden you go to burnout mode, right? Like you said yes to all these things. I'm a prime example. Back, I would say this was about maybe 7, 8 years ago. My brother was throwing a surprise 50th birthday party for my sister-in-law back in Wisconsin. I'm very close with my family. Family is one of my top priorities. But for some reason, I had said yes to all these things. I'm volunteering, I've got seminars, I've got all this stuff. And my brother's asking me if I'm coming in, and I'm saying no. And it was in that moment when I said no that I hung up the phone and I said to myself, what am I doing? And I curled up in a ball and I cried. Because I realized in that moment that I had overcommitted myself and that I really truly wasn't doing the things that I love to do. I was doing the things that I thought were going to either elevate me in status or that were going to, you know, potentially bring me in business. Like sometimes the unconscious mind can justify us going to that event just one more time because that one person who's going to make the difference in our business is going to be there. Like if you have the time to network, by all means network, but like, you know, don't be networking 7 days a week, right? Because there's other things that are more important. I will tell you that because of what has happened in my life, and Jeff was here 15 minutes early, so Jeff and I had like a big conversation before everybody showed up. But I talked about it. I don't like the circumstances I'm in right now in any way, shape, or form, yet I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off anymore. And it's given me more time. It's like my life looks a lot different right now, and you know what? Business is still coming to me. Like I'm actually, because now I'm so cognizant of where I'm spending my time. I mean, God bless Betsy. Betsy even asked me, are you sure you want to teach this morning? I said, absolutely, because this is what I love to do. And if I'm going to have a message of stop waiting, start living, you can bet that I'm going to be here. That I'm going to be here and show up and leave you hopefully with an impactful message that you're going to be able to take home and have a ripple effect to those people that are around you. So, you know, it's like when somebody asks you like to volunteer, to be on a board, or to do something, you know, it's either like if you know right away it's no, thank you. Thank you for asking, no. You don't have to have a reason. You don't have to go into a long dissertation as to why you're not able to do it, right? Because like people are fine with no's. Like how many people go to restaurants? Okay, right? And like the waiter asks you if you want an appetizer or a bottle of wine and you say no, does he run back into the kitchen and cry because you said no? Absolutely not. Like no means not right now in my book. You know, unless somebody says like hell no or F no or something like that, then I'm like, all right, I'll back off for a little while, right? So, but that's like, we just really have to be cognizant of what we're saying yes to. And if you're not sure about an opportunity being presented to you, ask for 24 hours. And it's not a bad habit to get into to always ask for 24 hours, to really take a look at your calendar, to really consider that time that it's going to be. Because you know darn well, how many people have said yes to something and it's been a reluctant yes? Right? It's been a reluctant yes, Chuck. You know, being here to tape this morning. Yes, Betsy, I'll do it again. are not aligned with their word. And if you've said yes and you find yourself just an overwhelm like I did, I've learned from that experience. I've learned to be careful about saying what I'm saying yes to. But if you do say a yes and you find that it's not working for you, like, have an honest conversation with that person. Hey, listen, I know I committed to you. I said yes. My energy isn't here. I'm not finding I have the time. I'm not really devoted. Like I'm not good about the hours that I'm giving you. And there are people out in this world that are looking for leadership opportunities. Find those people and suggest those people sometimes if it's not going to be you. Leaders replace leaders. So if you're ever in a position, like maybe you are on a board and you need to find yourself stepping down, talk to the people that you know in your world to see if they might be a good fit to replace you. So the ultimate leader doesn't have to worry about finding a way to replace you. Any questions about oh no?
No.
Ah, no, good. How many people are going to start saying no a little bit more often?
Amen.
Amen. No, Jeff, you're not. No. All right, let's see, what time are we at? Okay. So the next one, the why. Why stands for yes to boundaries. Yes to boundaries. Kind of goes hand in hand with oh no, but there's a little bit of difference to yes to boundaries because how many people use a paper calendar? Okay, and how many people use an electronic calendar? Awesome. Okay, whatever you use, some people use both. I'm like, that's too complicated. Like, let me just, stick with one calendar. Whatever you use, the things that matter most in your priorities go into that calendar first. And they're non-negotiable. If you're using paper, they go in pen. And if you have to use a different color code for in your calendar, like that this is family time, this is priority time, whatever it is, you don't ever reschedule that appointment for something else that you think might bring you in business. Like, I know that there are things that happen, and it's not like an end-all be-all. If it happens occasionally, that's fine. But if it's happening constantly over and over and over again, that you find that you're putting yourself last on the list, we need to have a conversation. Because there should be no way that all those things that, like that you're working, and that you're not taking care of yourself first. I just had this conversation with somebody, I'm trying to think who it was, but like I look at my husband, and my husband is one that has said yes and has taken care of everybody and put himself last on the list. And so it's like sometimes it's just time to change that because you matter most, and your life matters most, and the people around you matter most. See, the people around us, they don't care about the stuff, right? Like they don't care about the material items. What do they care about? They care about the time and the experiences that they have with you. It's making memories. Nobody goes to their deathbed and says, God, I wish I had, more boats or cars or houses. They always say, I wish I had more time to spend with my loved ones. But it's a choice. It's a choice that we face every single day as we go along with life. Like, what choices are you making? And sometimes they're not easy choices to make. But like, you can always ask yourself one solid question. Like, whatever it is, whatever is your ultimate goal, you can ask yourself, is this taking me towards it? Or is it taking me away? Is what I'm about to do right now taking me towards that, or is it taking me away? And if you find that you're taking yourself away more often, then again, it's time to really take a look at priorities. Because the other thing I often talk about is self-care is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. And it's like, there should be a good majority of time in your calendar where you're doing the things that you love with the people that you love. Debbie, who's one of my clients, right? She's retired and yet working, working on a business. And so for her, there's a fine line, a fine balance, right? Because you want to spend time with your husband, and you guys are fortunate that you're doing the business together. But you don't want it to be do all the time. Like, you are retired for a reason, to go out there and live life. This is a second career for you. right? But like, that's where, you know, like working together, that we're figuring that out. Like, how do I maximize and use the time best that I have set aside for business? So that and as entrepreneurs, we cross those lines all the time. How many people have an office from home? How many people have said, oh, I'm just gonna go into my office and, do that one more email, or like that one more thing, right? And you find yourself still in there a couple of hours later. See, oh, I get some laughter over here, right? It's like,
Because it's true.
when you work, you work. And when you play, you play. And when you're with family, like when you're with family and loved ones, put the cell phone away. That goes again with the digital detox. Like, there is nobody else's emergency is your crisis. It's like, like you have working hours, like really set those boundaries. Do you work or don't you work on Sundays? What are your working hours? Like, if you say you're done by 6 o'clock, you're done by 6 o'clock, and no matter how that office is calling you for just one more thing, don't do it. Because there's nothing worse than just saying, like you're with your family and saying, oh, I just have to quickly respond to this. And then 2 hours later, you're still have your nose in the phone or at the computer. So yes to boundaries. All right, the second O, which always throws people for a loop. Ready? Overthrow the to-do list. Woohoo! Overthrow the to-do list. Now I know that for a lot, how many people like to-do lists? Most people do, right? But here's the problem with a to-do list, and what I offer as a solution is something I call as a success list. A success list. So a to-do list is a disorganized directory. Everything and anything goes on that to-do list, right? Return phone calls, return emails, pick up the dry cleaning, get the dog food. Oh, I gotta pick up the kids. I've got all this stuff to do, right?
I got multiple to-do lists.
And all your multiple to-do lists. But you could name those like you could put in like an errand list, right? And then like all your errands go on there, right? But here's the thing to be cautious of with a to-do list. Because again, remember I talked about how as human beings, we like to beat ourselves up for what doesn't get done. So a lot of times people make these to-do lists yay long, right? And then they cross off a couple things, they carry it over to the next day, they add more stuff. And does anybody find that overwhelming to see that to-do list? As long as it is day after day after day, right? It's hard to look at, seeing that over and over and over again. Because it doesn't always address your priorities. Like what's most important, right? Thank you for agreeing with me. So a success list, I like to use, like something about the size of this, like a Post-it note, right? Like you take a Post-it note, and on your success list are the top 2 or 3 things that you are going to complete that day, that are most important, that are your priorities, right? Because what happens then is you crumple it up, and you throw it away. It's not carrying over day after day, week after week. It's not beating you up on your self-esteem. Because that to-do list is a reminder. I swear it's a reminder of, God, I suck. Why can't I get this stuff done? Really, right? Anybody ever felt that or thought that or looked at that and said, oh man, I don't know. And like maybe not, maybe the to-do list works well for you. Remember I said to take one thing from this presentation, whatever resonates with you, but maybe you want to even label it a success list and have your success list of the things that are most important for that day. Everything else is kind of a byway. And I know, like for me these days, because sometimes like I run out the door and I'm like, damn it, I forgot that. Like I was gonna do this. Like my brain's not like firing on all cylinders these days because I have so much going on. So I either put stuff by my purse, like to remember to walk out with it. Hopefully I remember to grab my purse, right? But like there are little tips and tricks and things that you can do. And listen, if it doesn't get done, unless the dog's howling because it hasn't gotten to eat, and I'm sure there's something you can find in the house to feed the dog temporarily till you go get that dog food, right? Like nothing is that big of a crisis. So try a success list. My final tip is the U, which is Uniquely you! Woo! Uniquely you, right? Because there is something about you that makes you unique. So here's my interactive part. I'm gonna come to the back of the room. I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds. Jeff, I want you to share with everybody in the room what makes you unique. And everybody's gonna do this. One thing that makes you unique.
We love adventures.
Thank you. I love that. PJ?
I don't know. I mean, you're saying we, as in you and Pam. You love adventures.
I do.
Your name is Cozy.
Yeah, I have initials for a name.
See?
That's not really.
And it doesn't, it's like, you guys are thinking about this too hard.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a point to this in just a second.
All right,
Debbie, what makes you unique?
Wait, can I change it? I don't know if it's unique, but it's unique to some people. I love to laugh. If I don't laugh,
That's cool.
Yes, that is a unique gift. Debbie?
I love to listen.
Thank you. Brenda?
I have 3 artificial joints now.
I love it. Thank you.
Cyborg.
Cyborg.
I'm catching up to you. I'm kidding. Laughter, smile.
Okay.
Creativity.
Perfect.
I have done a puzzle a week for over 2 years.
Nice. I like it. Thank you.
Loyal.
Loyal. Got it.
I love my dog like he's my own child.
Yes, you do. I'm right there with you.
I backpacked around the world for a year.
Oh,
Nice.
Very nice. I'm compassionate. I have a servant's heart.
Thank you.
I have so many things. I guess creativity, art.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chuck? What makes you unique?
Drive.
You love to
Drive.
drive. Nice.
People know.
Positivity.
Positivity. Thank you. So here's my exercise for you today. If you found that that was difficult to do, which some of you did, and it's okay, I want you to write a list of 20 things that make you unique. Everyone. All right? Because it's not just one thing that makes us unique. We were all put on this earth with unique gifts. I believe in God, whatever you believe in, but I believe God does not make mistakes.
Amen.
And He gave us gifts, right? You know, Don Miguel Ruiz in the 4 Agreements talks about this. We were born perfect, we live perfect, and we die perfect. It's the stinking thinking that I talk about in here that gets in our way. That we're not living out our gifts and our message of why we were put out here. See, you don't need a stage, you don't need a podcast, you don't need a book, you don't need any of this stuff because you have a unique message that you can only share. It can only be heard from you. If somebody else tried to do my presentation, while it would come off great, it still doesn't have the same flair, the same personality because I live and breathe this message. See, all of you have that message and you're all impacting your world in some way, shape, or form. Like for all of you, it's like putting yourself out there and just speaking your truth. And what you shared with as a gift, I love it. Thank you everybody for being open enough to share. But like you have so many more gifts. Like everybody in this room truly has a servant's heart. Because you're an entrepreneur and you're in business and you're giving back in some way, shape, or form. You know, but sometimes we don't sit and we don't take the time to think about our gifts or even to think about our accolades. Like how many times have you ever sat and really like written down all the things that you've done in your life? It's amazing. Your life is amazing. Your life is a gift. And you are a gift to be shared with this world. And so whatever makes you unique, and for me, it's all about having fun. It's about having Q-tip hair. You know, it's about, you know, like my googly-eyed glasses have become my trademark. It's about making people laugh and having fun, right? Like nothing in life is that serious that you are not able to have fun and still be professional. Has anybody thought that I'm not professional today, right? And if you did, let's have a conversation out in the, we'll have a little conversation, right? Like it's all about you, right? Like in this equation, you matter most. your voice matters most. What you, like the time that you have on this earth is what matters most. And so like, you know, as you leave today, and again, you've got the timers, if people have business cards, and they want to pass those to the front if anybody has business cards, because I'll do some drawings here, and I've got some giveaways to do. But here's the thing, I really, like, I'm always available to have conversations. I love to make new friends. I love to have amazing people in my life, right? So on this card is a QR code that you can scan, and you can book a free 30-minute call with me. And whether or not, like if you're here in town, we can meet for coffee, or we can do Zoom or whatever it is. But book a call with me, and you know, we can talk about anything. If it's just to get to know each other, if I know you pretty well and you want to go ahead and like ask me your like hardest question, you know, I don't know, like, you know, if you want to get philosophical and ask about the why in life, I know that Betsy really loves to be a wanderer. No, I know. So like the why behind things. But take these, and if you feel the calling and you want to go ahead and book a call with me, please do so. Before I do some of my giveaways, does anybody have any questions, comments, feedback, anything that they'd like to share with the group? Debbie.
What are your thoughts on, I put in my phone calendar, it's becoming a to-do list. What are your thoughts about me put, instead of an appointment, I'm putting, okay, you need to do this, and I'm making it into a to-do list on my phone. And then I see by today, everything that I put on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I didn't get done yet. And I noticed that today.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah. And then you're like, and then you get frantic. It's like frantic energy. It's like, oh my God, you know, I haven't gotten all this stuff done. Rather than just because the other thing that I forgot to mention about a to-do list is that if it's carrying over day after day, week after week, it's not important.
Right.
It's not a priority. It's not something, and listen, you know, one of the things that I talk about all the time is leveraging yourself as an entrepreneur. And I know it's like all the funds aren't always there. There are ways for you to leverage yourself to find things that people who love to do, I don't know, like I have a virtual assistant. I have somebody who does all the tasky stuff that I don't necessarily like to do, because this is what I love to do. And I don't always want to have to do all the behind the scenes stuff. So to me, it's worth it to hire somebody out to do that for me. And those are the things to sometimes look in your business, like, you know, because if I can make $200 an hour, like giving a speech, and I'm spending that hour cleaning my toilets, right? Like, I mean, is that a good use of my time? Absolutely not. Or flushing my toilets. Because I used to do home watch and stuff as well too. So, but you know, I didn't charge, you know, probably nearly what I was worth. So I've gotten over that hurdle too. So any other questions, any other thoughts, anything that, yes?
What you're saying is making me think of a bracelet I own that I love wearing. I just had it on this weekend. And all it says is, live your dash. And it came from a poem, I don't know if you've seen it, or a story, that when people die and they have their obituary or their headstone, you see their birth date and the dash and the day that they died. Yeah. And it's all about living the dash.
It's a very powerful poem, and thank you for sharing that. Yes, look up the dash. Love your dash. I like that bracelet. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
It's like, it's not the destination, it's the journey to the destination. It's like when you're going on a trip, you know, you're anxious to get there, but some people don't really enjoy the journey by stopping and seeing what's along the way, so it's like smelling the roses.
Right, right. My parents used to do that all the time when they were driving back and forth between Arizona and Wisconsin. I would encourage them to like stop and see places along the way. Nope, my dad was getting back to Wisconsin in 2.5 days, right? Like he was, and then my mom passed, and then, you know, didn't have those opportunities anymore. So yeah, it's like, you know, you're right, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, the ups and downs. Anybody ever seen the movie Parenthood with Steve Martin?
Yes.
And when Grandma talks about the roller coaster versus the merry-go-round? I'm a little bit too much on the roller coaster right now, but, you know, I'd rather be on the roller coaster. I'd rather be on the roller coaster. Anything else? Anyone? All right, let me see who's my winners here. Let me just throw these in a bag. I give away. I will sign this for you and stuff as well too. So let me see. You want to just dig in? All right. So Jeff, do you want the book Stop Waiting, Start Living, since you were my first winner, or do you want the journal?
The book, please.
All right. So I will autograph that for you. All right. Pick winner number 2. Barbara, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Karen, pick winner number 3. You can take yourself, that's okay.
Oh, yay.
Easy and elegant, there you are. See, look at how that works. All right, and I have one more. Mary Kay.
She matches her business hours.
I know. All right. That is all I have. Like your time really truly is your most valuable asset. And so I really appreciate you taking that asset to spend with me this morning.
Same to you. Julie,
Yes.
can you speak about like what you do with a client? Someone hires you. What are you doing?
So I'm a certified practitioner in NLP and mental and emotional release, as well as hypnotherapy. So I do breakthrough sessions. So a breakthrough session looks like about 6 to 8 hours to get to the bottom of what's stopping you in life, and then 12 one-hour sessions of coaching with me to get you, because your brain is so trained like in what it's already doing that we need to change those neural pathways and help you and give you like solutions to be able to help. Now, if you're not interested in the breakthrough, I do some coaching, but like now in my experience, I have found, and maybe Debbie can share, like what the coaching has done for you and now.
Did you do the 6 to 8 hours?
No, she didn't do that because
I didn't, but I've known Julie, I've worked with her before, and it was easy for me to do a breakthrough because there were certain things I just was so struggle. And just talking with her, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't wait to share with Julie. And I know now that was just a breakthrough that has just taken me to a new level in my business.
Are you through your sessions with Julie? How many have you done?
she's been we're working almost like 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
Most of
Once a week.
my coaching is a minimum of 3 months, ideally 6 months, because I know like people are like, oh my God, 6 months. Well, 6 months will go by really fast, number 1. But number 2, the crap that's in your head didn't get there overnight, and it's not going to go away overnight. So Debbie, you want to talk about that? What was your big win for the month of February?
A big win, a big thing for me is I didn't realize, you think it's, oh my gosh, it's just some big thing that happened in your life. It's not. It was me asking for money. I hate asking anyone for money. I want to give, and well, that was from when I was 8 years old. Now I'm realizing my father and I, our conversation back then.
And
it's
did
just
you find, did you access that through hypnotherapy, or you just?
We haven't done hypnotherapy.
No.
So you just
thinking, I'm just thinking, what the heck? And for me, it just came, and that was part of the process of asking for money. Now I'm doing, and she has me coached.
What's still the biggest win? We talked about this yesterday for February.
Money. The more money coming in.
It's the most money you've made
ever. And I've been with it for 2 months. That's a huge win for me. You know what? I am no hesitant in asking anymore.
Valuing your
Yes. But also her coaching on just ask people to do something for you. Just ask them. You don't have to do everything yourself. Just ask, and it's like, okay, now I like asking.
I'm busy asking.
No. The answer. But just a perfect example for the flutter in the fountain. I'm going to restaurants and I'm asking them, would you like to donate your time? Before that I'd be like, I'd be having, you know what I mean? To ask someone to do something like that, part with money or part with something.
You know what, whether people believe it or not, people get into business And asking for money is a big stopping block for a lot of people.
I still have a long way to go.
Well,
It's a big,
but
big step.
You've had a lot of progress in the six, 7 weeks we've been working together.
Yeah.
And Al is thanking me every day.
Like, yes, as a business, you want to have all, I'm a monkey with shiny. I like to have, you know, stuff on it and buy certain things, and just stop. You don't need that. So Al was like, you know, why didn't you talk to Julie?
He doesn't sound like that.
Saving marriages.
No, he's in with, it's he and I together.
Yes.
So we're in the sessions together, and he's like,
Yeah, I'm getting fist bumps. But everything is different. That's why I am not a cookie cutter approach. I customize everything for my clients.
Which I love too.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to hear things either in a different way or from a different person.
And exactly, and he'll tell me something, and it's in one ear and it flies out, but Julie will say it and it sticks.
That's the first step.
And I was like, any other questions, any other thing? That's it, that's all. That's it.
Thank you, Julie, fantastic.
You are so
Appreciate
welcome.
you very much. And you will be able to see her podcast first, and then this session after. This probably in 2 weeks-ish, and the podcast next week.
I was on their podcast, but I have a podcast too. My podcast is Get Shit Done. That was her check.
And all of her information here is on here.
Yep.
What about the donuts?
Yes, pass the donuts around. I never got to place her napkin. Did you bring them? I checked it. Thanks, Sean. Yes.